we've always been fueled since day one by wanting to prove something.
When Creed broke onto the music scene in 1997 with their post-grunge alternative rock sound, their debut album My Own Prison shot straight to the top. The songs Torn, What's This Life For, My Own Prison, M1 ensured the album got plenty of airplay on MTV. And just 5 years later, in 2002, the album was certified 6 times platinum in the US, which certifies 6 million copies sold. So Creed with their frontman Scott Stapp were off to a great start, but they didn't stop there. They followed up My Own Prison with the highly successful 1999 release Human Clay, which boasted 4 massive hits: Higher, What If, With Arms Wide Open, and Are You Ready? And went an astonishingly 11 times platinum in the US. Yeah, that's over 11 million copies sold of their album. With the amazing guitar work from lead guitarist Mark Tremonti and powerful vocals from Scott Stapp, it seemed Creed were unstoppable. But it would all come to an end for Creed after they released their 3rd studio album, Weathered. Up until this point, the band had been a 4-piece with Stapp on vocals and Tremonti on lead guitar, and you also had Brian Marshall on the bass and Scott Phillips playing drums. But for Weathered, the band turned into a 3-piece, with bass player Brian Marshall leaving the band. This left guitarist Mark Tremonti to play the bass parts on Weathered. The album was a huge commercial success for Creed and boasted 6 singles, including My Sacrifice, Bullets, and Weathered, and went on to go 6 times platinum itself in the US. But by 2004, Creed had disbanded. Scott Stapp decided to pursue a solo career, while the other 3 members, Tremonti, Marshall, and Phillips, decided to form their own band. And this is when the death of Creed gave birth to the new band, Alter Bridge.
Hi, I'm Mark Tremonti.
I'm Myles Kennedy.
I'm Scott Phillips.
And Brian Marshall from Alter Bridge.
It's just a little bridge over a polluted river that is the border between Detroit and the just the bordering neighborhoods, and it's kind of the crossing point between the absolutely horribly, impoverished, and then you have the wealthy right on the other side of the bridge. So it's just kind of this, I think it's the greatest difference in culture from one side to the other I've ever seen, and it kind of represented to us as kids as the unknown, because we weren't allowed to ever cross that bridge.
Because you were from the good neighborhood?
Because my parents grew up in Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan, which was a nice little neighborhood with, if you went 2 blocks this way or 4 blocks this way, your parents wouldn't allow you to go, because it was just, it went into, Detroit was a very dangerous city when I grew up. If you went into if you went into Detroit and you didn't know what you were doing when you were a young kid, it was pretty dangerous. So my parents said, you can't ever cross Alter Bridge, so it kind of represented to me the unknown. And when we decided to break up Creed, we were leaving our comfort blanket and going over and going into the unknown, just like we did, if we did as kids to go over Alter Bridge. So that's why we called it that.
With Stapp leaving, Tremonti, Marshall, and Phillips needed a new lead singer. Step up, Myles Kennedy. The new foursome signed up with Wind Up Records, and by August of 2004 released its debut album, One Day Remains. The album peaked at number 5 on the US Billboard 200 and featured the massive hit Open Your Eyes along with Find the Real and Broken Wings. And track number 5, Metalingus, which became a huge hit for WWE superstar Edge. The 3 members of Creed had found a new sound with Myles Kennedy. Where Creed were known for their post-grunge alternative rock sound, Alter Bridge would turn it up on the heavy side, becoming much more alternative, progressive metal sounding.
It's just straight ahead rock and roll. It's we tend to lean a little bit on the heavier side on some songs and the lighter side on other songs. It's just straight ahead rock.
Well, Myles is the main lyric writer, and Mark is the music guy. But there's a lot of collaboration when we all get together. As far as arrangements, we throw it all against the wall, and just it's an evolution. Songs really, they take on a shape after sometimes days, sometimes weeks, but in the end, it's all Alter Bridge.
Do you have any music influence from anybody, or what do you listen to yourself?
It's pretty mixed up. We love a lot of the bluesier element of what came out of the United States in the early part of the last century, and all the way up through modern metal. I mean, it's just there's so many different fantastic offshoots of rock and roll, and we try to take all that in, as well as the things that inspired that.
And if anybody thought this new relationship between the former members of Creed and Myles Kennedy was a short-term gig, they couldn't have been more wrong. Alter Bridge followed up their debut effort in 2007 with the powerful album Blackbird, which included the amazing tracks Rise Today, Watch Over You, and Ties That Bind. And to date, the band has gone on to release 4 further studio albums: Alter Bridge 3 in 2010, Fortress in 2013, The Last Hero in 2016, and Walk the Sky in 2019. So 6 mega studio albums from the band, and they aren't done yet. In fact, guitarist Mark Tremonti has stated that the band will be recording a new album in 2022, making it the band's 7th in all. And to top that off, they have kept the same personnel since they formed way back in 2004. That's right, those 3 former Creed members, Tremonti, Phillips, and Marshall, are still there. But the story wouldn't be complete unless we went full circle. That's right, guys, we've got to go back to the time when Creed briefly reformed in 2009 to release their 4th studio album titled Full Circle, which happened with Alter Bridge still together, of course. Something that guitarist Mark Tremonti had stated just a couple years earlier would never happen, saying in 2006 that Creed was officially in our past. Scott Stapp said of the reunion, "We never felt like we weren't together. We're not looking at this as a reunion, it's more of a rebirth." The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200 and received mixed to positive reviews from critics, with some critics stating how they appreciated the new, heavier, darker side of Creed. The band toured behind Full Circle, however, tensions were beginning to grow between Tremonti and Stapp. On the tour, Stapp would reportedly ride on his own tour bus separate from the rest of the band, and was angry with Tremonti over his continuing to work with Alter Bridge. And there became a point on that Full Circle tour when the two of them did not speak, including when the band were playing on stage. So things became a bit of a mess in the end again there for Creed, and they went on hiatus in 2012. With Alter Bridge, of course, continuing on. And according to Stapp, work had begun on a 5th Creed album. But with Tremonti and Stapp at loggerheads, and with Alter Bridge still going, it just wasn't going to happen. And the project was scrapped. Stapp, of course, had a very public downfall, releasing videos of himself on the internet exhibiting very strange behavior, and of course his well-known substance abuse issues. But Stapp was able to rise above all of that and got himself back on track, and has even said that a Creed reunion in the future is always a possibility. So it was very sad to see the downfall of Scott Stapp there, a man with a very powerful voice, a great rock singer, and released some amazing songs with his band Creed, and was great to see how he turned his life around. And Alter Bridge, the band that came from the ashes of Creed, Myles Kennedy replacing Scott Stapp, and as I say at the release of this video, they are 6 albums in and still going. So there it is, guys, from one band to another, from Creed to Alter Bridge, and everything in between. Thanks heaps, guys, for checking out the video. Be sure to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll catch you next time.
Alright.
Alright. Hi, I'm Mark Tremonti.
I'm Kevin Bacon. I'm Getty Lee. Alright.
Hi, I'm David Justice.
I'm Macaulay Culkin.
Bud Bundy.